Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. I was wondering what to speak on today, and as I often do, I looked at the viewer comments, and thank you so much for all the positive vibes that you send me. It really does help to empower me and keep me going with all this. So one of the viewers' comments from 7 stars, she asks, what is the meaning for our existence? Now, this is a huge question. And it's the kind of question that I used to ask when I was younger, when I didn't know what was going on in my life and I wanted to try to find meaning. And I ended up looking at different spiritual sources and philosophical sources and trying to answer this question. What is the meaning of existence? Well, there's two ways of looking at it, I reckon. The first way, if we look at the human design information, we can see that we are incarnated beings. We come into the meat, we come into the form, and there are two aspects to us. The personality crystal that hovers just above the head, and the design crystal that is in our body, that is representative of everything that's read in the chart in terms of the gates. So we incarnate. But where do we come from? Well, we come from the crystal bundles that are in the atmosphere, according to human design. And what is that? We don't really know. We don't really know the numbers. Ra talks about the crystal bundles having perhaps millions of crystals in them, and only a tiny percentage actually come down and incarnate. So we've got this idea of being part of something that is not incarnated, as part of our cycle, if we put it that way. We also know that we have a design crystal that goes back into the Earth's mantle when we die, and all the forms of all the life forces, all the beings that are around, all the creatures, all the humans, all the plants, all the forms are held and kept safe in the mantle of the Earth. Again, what is the meaning of existence? This is what's going on. We also know from human design that we are living as human beings in something much larger than ourselves, and that we are part of a being that is the size of the universe, and we're in the ajna. So in the green triangle that you'd see on your chart, we're in the ajna, we're measuring everything. So humanity in a way is here to measure things. This is what Ra tells us anyway. So we're measuring mentally, we're measuring things like, what is the meaning of this? Why did that happen? Asking the questions, finding out. So that's part of the big picture. But we've also got the fact that the neutrinos passing through everything, and as they pass through, they imprint us, and we imprint them as they carry on their journey, and they go throughout the whole universe. So what does that mean? That means you could look at it and you go, well, we are all informing the totality through the neutrinos passing through us incarnating one life after another, on and on in the cycle of birth and rebirth, and that there is a growing of consciousness in some way. So an expansion of consciousness, and we are part of that. And that would be a kind of an answer for you. We could go on to say at some point, this being the size of the universe will be born, and it will enter into a world we have no conception of. The awareness level at that point will be beyond our imagination. In other words, we just don't know. If we're in a being that's like, say, 2.5 months in its pregnancy, if it had a 9-month cycle, of course it has a much longer one, but compared to humans, we're not supposed to know what's going on. It's not about measuring the totality of everything. We simply don't know. That would be another answer I could give you. Your meaning is tied to perspective. And so we could go on and on talking in these broad brush areas of what does it all mean. But from my point of view, it's really about finding meaning in the life that we are living as single beings on this planet. What's meaningful for us? Which is why you have Ra talking about generators here to find satisfaction, and projectors here to find success, and manifestors here to have peace, and reflectors here to be surprised. You know, we each have our themes as types that we're here to find meaning in. And we also know the strategy and authority in order to get there, such as a sacral response as a big example. But individual meaning, that changes also. When we're younger, you know, the world has a different meaning. Our lives have a different meaning. As we get older, the meanings change. You know, what do things really mean now to you at this age compared to the way they did earlier on in your life? It changes. Now, this question came from Seven Stars, who was watching the video I did on auras. So I would also have to say that there is also levels of existence, if you like, that we have become less sensitive to, about the world in the aura and the beings that may be involved in existing in ways that we can no longer perceive. There are different levels and there are different perspectives at each level. And another question from a viewer who's been watching the 1-3 video, which I think is relevant here. They ask, is it a curse that I will be forever living a life of trial and error because it feels like a trap to me? And that's from KW-WV2OG. Interesting name. I wonder what that means. What's the meaning of that? We don't know. But my answer to that question is basically, it's not a curse. It's your modus operandus. Third line beings are here to find out by trial and error, which means they'll have a go, which means they have a kind of life that can be bumpy, but also adventurous and a lot of fun, where you can learn as you go. So meaning with that profile, I don't know the design, but with that profile, meaning is in your journey of discovery, finding out what doesn't work, finding some things that do work, learning from things that don't work to make things work that didn't work before. There are so many things that will come with a third line life. You don't necessarily know the meaning of every mistake until perhaps much later, when that mistake can inform you to find a solution for something you haven't yet met. You know, we are living in a mystery. So my answer to what is the meaning of our existence is, one, we just don't know. Two, on a larger scale, it's about the expansion of consciousness, going towards an end where there will be a fully aware consciousness coming out into the world in a way that is truly incarnated, in a way that we just don't know. Because after all, human design also teaches that, yes, we have a personality crystal and we have a design crystal. The personality crystal is really a kind of design crystal. We're in a program. We're in the early part of the program, if you like, as it's turning in this cycle anyway. So the answer to the question, what a fully conscious personality crystal will be like, and we really don't know that. According to the voice, we won't know for, you know, at least a couple of billion years from now. But we're part of it. We are part of something much bigger than ourselves that we can't know. And it's about being comfortable with that. I don't ask that question anymore. I don't ask these big questions because it's really about living my own life. And in the living of our own lives, we find meaning where we find meaning. There are all kinds of ways you can describe that. You know, the meaning of one's life in terms of the impact one makes on others would be one way of doing it. The meaning that we get from life by doing something that really fulfills us, and we become an example of someone who can be fulfilled. Would that be a meaning? So when some scientist, for example, makes a breakthrough discovery and it affects the way the world works, can their life be brought down to meaning because of their discovery? I don't think so. I think the meaning of their existence, that person's existence, would be in the way that they connected with the people around them, the way they lived their life, whether they were truly fulfilled in their life. That, for me, is what meaning is about. It's about the personal fulfillment for each one of us. And the big question, well, we get glimpses, we get shown signs at different times, different aspects of what it might be about in terms of frequency, in terms of synchronicities lining out. We get glimpses. But the big thing, the meaning of all existence, it's not really for humans to be able to answer that. And like everything in life, you have to come to the point where you go, well, I think we'll leave that one alone for the time being. I mean, you'd be much happier if you did. At least that's where I'm coming from right now. So the meaning of our existence, for me, is about perspective, and it's about framework. And really, after everything that I've looked into in human design and elsewhere, it's really about your own life. You know, to be fulfilled in your own life is the meaning of your existence. To just be you in your life, experiencing all the ups and downs and things that happen. So I'm most comfortable with looking at the meaning of our existence as living your own life at whatever level we live it. That is where the meaning is found, just the living of it, and to live authentically as ourselves in that, and to be able to know the difference. And happily, human design does show us the difference, does give us the different frameworks to ponder such things. So there you go. That's what I've got to say. A bit of an obscure one today, but if you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye-bye for now.